like you get a can of courage, you open it up, yes, I'm ready to go. Liquid alcohol, sometimes people try to use that as, we used to call that liquid courage, because people will say stuff drunk that they wouldn't dare say to you, in person. Or electronic courage, where people will send you an email or Facebook post that they wouldn't dare say to your face, that kind of courage. What I like to say is that to have authentic and real courage, the primary preface or the primary prerequisite for courage is fear. You must be afraid. I get really afraid when I see people on their trucks and they have no fear. You got to be afraid of something and somebody, right? If not, you're psychotic, right? So courage. So when I talk about fear, I talk about two types of fear. The first type of fear is that emotional ambiguity about the future. The fear of the unknown, not knowing what's going to happen next. That anxious or that anxiety that one has about the uncertainty of the future. That kind of fear. But I also refer to the fear that is related to having reverence for or respect for. For example, I'm not going to go swim in the middle, I am not going to swim from the shore to the middle of Lake Superior. Why? I respect Lake Superior. Why? Because it is greater than I am. Right? Water is cool as long as you know what you're doing on it. You act a fool, you act out of place, you disrespect the water, and you what? You die. Fire. When you respect fire, it works on your behalf, but when you disrespect it, what happens? You burn. Right? So when we talk about courage, there are two things that stop people from having courage. And I'll talk about that in just a second. The 13s also were connected. When they stood up, they had somebody else alongside them that also stood up. Right? The two girls that were going after this girl, she was like, well, I'm from her culture. And she was like, yeah, that's stupid. And, so they were connected. And also the older gentleman, he was also connected with someone. He said, my son fought in a war on her behalf. So his son wasn't physically there, but he had an emotional connection. He could feel this woman's pain, although he did not have a personal relationship with her. All right? So if you want to be a positive 13, you must stay connected with the struggle, and you also find allies. And once you step out, that's when you find allies. So let's talk about the 22, and then we'll be done for the day. So the 22 typically don't move because they are fearful. Being full of fear, what that means is courageous people take fear and they move. But what makes a courageous person move where a fearful person won't move? Anyone served in the armed services? In the military at all? Anyone have parents that served in the military? Relatives? Okay, cool. There are two things that make the courageous move where the fearful don't. And it's these two things. In the military, they have these things called drills. You ever heard of those? You've seen a movie, right? What are they doing when they have these drills? They are practicing. They are practicing. Right? The second thing that they have is just as important as the first. They practice. But the second thing is that they have the right equipment. Have you ever tried to fix your car and you didn't have all the tools? Or something went wrong in a project and you had to go get more tools? That's very frustrating. It takes more time. But the courageous have the right tools and they've been practicing. And so why do people not move in those situations? In those diversity situations. I'm sure you have been in a diversity situation, and I've been in one certainly, where I didn't say anything. I saw something going wrong or something not going right, and I just didn't say anything. 9 chances out of 10, I would say that it was something that you had not practiced mentally. Why do deer get caught in the headlights? It's a surprise. They get in the road. What is It's not something that they've prepared for. They haven't thought about it. They haven't planned for. And the 22 also, it's important that you have the right resources. So not only do you practice this stuff, you think about it. Well, what happens if this happens? What happens if this happens? What do I say when this happens? All right, cool. Uncle Jim's coming over. We need to have a plan because he's going to act a fool. So what happens if he says this? How do I get this resource or that resource? All right? So also the 22 become the silent majority or Minnesota nice. There are 3 ways in which you can make a decision in a group using Robert's Rules of Order. If you agree with, there are 4 ways. If you agree with something, what do you say? If you agree with what's going to happen. You say aye. Yes, I agree. If you don't agree, what do you say?
Nay.
You say nay, no, I don't agree. If you have some kind of conflict with what's going to happen, what do you say? I abstain. Right? So I can't be a part of the decision that's going on. The 4th way that you use Robert's Rules of Order in making a decision, if you don't agree with what's going on, or if you don't make a decision, this is how you can make a decision, is that you say nothing. Where do the negative 6s get their power and influence from? Is it the 13s? No. It's the 22. The negative 6s get their power and influence from the 22. And what I would suggest to you, that there are times in your life when it is safe to be a 6. There are ways in your life, not that it's safe to be a 6, but there are times and issues in your life that I'm sure you are a 6, because there are issues that I have that I'm a 6. But it's not okay for me to stay at that 6. And there are ways and issues that I'm a 13. And there are ways in which I'm a 22. And I want to tell you, every time that I'm a 22, I'm somewhat embarrassed, but this is what I say when I'm in a situation where I'm a 22. The next time that happens, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. Because I'm starting to practice. Because what I know about the universe and what I know about the world is what you don't learn the first time, it'll keep coming back to you until you do learn it. My name is Andre Cohen. I appreciated your time. Thank you for yours. So it is now 2 o'clock. I think you have forms to fill out. Feel free to do that. If you have any questions, comments, observations, my website is andrecohen.com, and feel free to contact me.